Your final incarnation here is about restitution. It's about reaping what you sow. It's about balancing the scales. It's about equality in your dealings. Your final incarnation. To take all of the experiences and take those experiences and gain knowledge from those experiences and use that knowledge to return back to source. See, because these experiences that we're talking about, that is knowledge. You can tell a child that the stove is hot, but the child doesn't actually know what hot is until they touch it. They didn't know what you meant by hot until they touched it. Now they have the experience, which we call pain, which we call knowledge. It's all the same thing. Pain, experience is knowledge. They're all the same. They're not different because they're all used to bring us back to the Father, to bring us back to Abba Yah, to bring us back to Source that breathed us out and sent us forth to carry forth His will. And He gave us free will to choose to do His will or to create our own and go our own path. And when we go our own path, we create errors. See, because we weren't perfect when we made our own path. Like the prodigal son who went astray, thought he was ready and he wasn't, and had to suffer pain and be brought back to Abba Yah, who restored him, put a robe on him and told him that he missed him. He was lost, now he's found. It's the same thing with us. We go out here, we sow seeds that are unrighteous and wicked, and then we have to make restitution for that. See, we reap what we sow. We're going to have to balance those scales. And so we reincarnate or we regenerate so that we can make restitution, to learn the lessons, to gain the experience, to gain the knowledge, to get back. Because we're all trying to get back to source, those of Abba Yah's family, his children, the B'nai Elohim, sons and daughters of the Most High Yah. We're getting back to source. And so in order to do that, we must make restitution for the things that we've sowed that are errors. And that's what the Master came to teach us about reaping what you sow. See, his law, which is the reaping what you sow, is what reveals to you your errors. You didn't know your errors until you saw his law. That's why his law is a schoolmaster to teach us and to bring us unto Christ, which is the knowledge of love, which is the last thing that you will learn on your journey. That's the stone that the builders rejected. That's, you'll find out, it is the head cornerstone. But it takes you to suffer lots of pain to discover true love. See, you don't just come here and say, I know exactly how to love. You'll find out you don't. Because if you did, you wouldn't suffer any losses. You wouldn't suffer any broken relationships, any separations. You were not perfect in your love, so you have to grow. And what's keeping you from being perfect in your love? Your fears, your doubts and anxieties, your insecurities, which are all fears. See? Because if you were secure, you wouldn't worry about anybody else, what they were doing, what they were saying, what their input was. You know your position. You know that I am this, despite whatever's going on out there. You see? And that's why it's about loving yourself first when you wake up. I am this. I am that. I am that. So that when I go out into the world, I know who I am and I know what I'm supposed to do. Instead of just things just happening to me by happenstance. You see? And that's what your final incarnation is about. It is about making restitution and using all the knowledge that you've gained, all the pain, all the experiences that you've gained in your prior incarnations. Now in your last incarnation, it's about using that to come to the fullness of the understanding, which is Christ. Come to the anointing in your final incarnation of Christ. You will become Christed. And now you can use all of that stuff that you've learned to therefore be perfect in your love and carry forth love in the world. You see? Letting your light shine now, because now you've been illuminated. You've been enlightened as to what the truth was all along. It took a lot of pain to find out that it was just learning how to love. That's what you were doing. You weren't doing anything else here. You weren't learning how to be a thief. You weren't learning how to be a criminal. You weren't learning how to get a bunch of money. You weren't learning how to have a lot of sex. You weren't learning how to be the sexiest person in the world. You weren't learning how to be the most articulate person in the world. You're just here learning how to love. And the longer you kick against that class, the longer it will take you to graduate it. It's just that simple. But if you're doing extra credit, you're diligent in your work, and you're passing the class, because that is the class. You can't get around that, by the way. I wanted to make that clear. But if you're doing your work and you're diligent and you're focused, then you're going to pass your courses on time. You won't be held back and have to redo courses. That's what happens when you have to reincarnate, because you have to be held back in your ascension because you have stuff you have to learn still that you haven't learned, that you haven't passed or mastered. See, this journey here that we all are on together is to become perfect in love. You see, to learn how to love perfectly, like the Most High does, so that you can become one with him and dwell with him. See, there is no spot, wrinkle, blemish in the Most High Yah. So in order to exist in his presence, you have to be perfect. So he's going to redeem you through his son, Yahusha, his teachings, the Christ consciousness, the Christ teachings, to rise you up to understand who you are in the name of I am, that you are a part of that whole. You're not separate from it. You're not searching for it. You are it. And once you understand that, now you have to love that thing perfectly so that you can love those things perfectly. And that's all that we're learning here, because in life, when we study, when we go to school, we get degrees, when we go to achieve anything that we want to achieve, and we want to become great at it. Do we want to achieve all that stuff and become great at anything in a world where it's just you by yourself? No one else exists? No, or else you wouldn't have any ambition to do those things. It's because there are other people around you that you so-called love, that you want to provide for, you want to take care of. Or it's because you love yourself. You want to provide a good life for yourself so that you can be able to do things for the people that you care for, the friends that you have, the acquaintances that you have, the family members that you have. It's not just so that I can be a great man and live in this world all by myself, looking off of a high mountain with a cake flying on my back. You know what I'm saying? No, we do those things so that we can increase love. Well, then we must know what love is and learn how to execute it, to do it. And the only way that you find out what it is and learn what it is you must endure pain. See, because even if someone tells you what love is, you still won't recognize it until you experience it by going through pain. See? Because you'll realize as you're spewing out negativity, okay? So let's say you're a person where you're in a negative state. So you're putting out negativity into the world. So somebody says it to you, you say something negative back. Well, then that's going to come back to you. It's just that simple. It's going to come back to you from someone else's mouth, what you put out. It's going to come out of someone else's mouth back to you. Or if I stab someone, then someone's going to stab me. It's this going on. It's a mirror of everything I'm putting out is coming back like this. It's never I'm putting it out and it's not coming back, guys. So if I say, I love. If I say, I am well, I am well. You see? Not, I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you. See? You're the stupidest person ever. You're the stupidest person ever. That's what's actually going to happen every time. So it's best that you learn how to love yourself so that when you put off the vibrations, you're putting out loving vibrations. And that's all Abba's trying to bring you to. See? Well, he's not trying. He is doing it. So as long as you're in flow with that vibration, if you're in flow with that stream of the ascension process of man, see? This word we call Akhdam, Adam, Akhdam, man, Akhdam. He's created and he's fallen and he's being restored back to his original estate, walking with the Most High as an upright man, Akhdam, in the image of the Most High Yah, which is divine love. He's the image of divine love once again, perfect in his love. See, because he fell from his perfection of love when he doubted what he was. I heard your voice in the garden and I hid. Why? What's changed? Remember he said, who told you you were naked? I am naked is what Adam said. So Abba said, who told you that you were? Abba's never said that. So where did that thought come from? That's what he's saying. So this is what I'm saying. That caused Adam's I am thoughts to change of himself. And that caused him to fall. And now Adam is starting to be restored in his I am. I am. And this will be happening on every level. So when we say the nation of Israel, which is the embodiment of the man Adam, then the same thing's going to happen with the nation of Israel. They failed in their ideals and thoughts of themselves. That's why they didn't know who they were. See, I am tells you who you are. Well, they didn't know. The so-called Negroes on the earth know who they were for the last 400 years? No. So that's proving that they also fail. They are also fulfilling the prophecy of Adam. As a nation they are. See? So it's happening on every level. So now that Adam is being restored, the time of his banishment is over, of being separated from I am. It's over. Now he's being restored. So I am at one with the source. See, he wasn't saying that before. Now he's saying it. He's believing it. He's feeling it. And it's true again within himself because he's made restitution. You understand? By coming back into divine love and harmony with it, which is what we call Christ. And that's why Christ, the man Yahushua, said the words, I am the truth, the life, and the way, because he's not saying I am Yahushua, the man right there standing there. If you follow that man, what he's saying is I am, the name, Father, Abba, through divine love. So if you want to know the way to get back home, you must come in harmony with perfect love and balance your scales when you deal with people and not deal with them with iniquity, not knowing you did something wrong to them and being okay with walking away and leaving it that way, because then it will also happen to you. And you won't rest until it happens because see, he's an inexorable judge. The Most High you cannot stop that law from being enacted is what he's saying to you. So it's not him doing the judging. It's you are doing the judging by what you're putting out. That's judging you. So when you speak harshness and meanness or whatever to something, it doesn't matter if it's a plant, then you will see the results of it, which will be death. And then it will also come on you because it must, by law. It's inexorable. You can't stop it from happening. So you have to come in harmony with it and let it be a schoolmaster. You see? Like I told you, the child never knew what hot was until he was burned. And then he didn't need mommy or daddy to tell him not to touch it anymore. See, because as parents, mommy and daddy, don't we tell our kids not to do something because it will harm them and then they go and do it anyway? Yes. So therefore, we're doing the same thing with the Most High. And our mother as well. See, our Abba and Amma, both. Wisdom crieth in the streets. Amma, our mother. Wisdom, the spirit, Ruach, crieth. No one listens to mama. We reject. I had this conversation with a close friend of mine over the last few days, that this thing with the mother being pushed away. Look, Israel was being punished by their father for their iniquities. So he punished them. That was our slavery, our forgetting who we were, our being stripped away from our heritage. That was our punishment. And now our Amma is here to rise us and comfort us, to comfort us from the whooping we got, to rise us up. And you want to blaspheme the Holy Spirit and push it away and say it's not your mother and say it's not the one that's going to comfort you? Well, let's just do some simple nature, guys. A father and a mother live at home. They have a child. They have a son. Let's say they have a son. The son did something wrong and the father was very angry and came in there and whooped that child. And the mother, when the whooping was over and the father was done and walked out the room, the child was in there crying. Who do you think comes in the room next? Not the comforter, not the mother to come comfort her child and say, are you okay, baby? I know it's okay. Daddy was upset with you because you didn't do what he told you to do. He's trying to keep you safe, baby. That's all. So next time, do what your father tells you to do. That's all this is, guys. And you gotta say, no, 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 we don't, it's not the mother, it's not the feminine. That's called blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. You're telling lies. Wisdom crieth in the streets. She does this. Treat her like a sister. Y'all not hearken to these words? So your Abba and your Amma are speaking to you today, Israela. It's telling you to be kind-hearted today. Our mother and our father are kind. They are patient. They are long-suffering. They envieth not each other. That is their example for us. They don't envy each other. They don't get in each other's way. They don't rejoice in lies, but they rejoice in the truth. Our mother and our father, our Abba and our Amma, they rejoice to see us rejoicing. They rejoice to see the truth prevail. Do you think they're pleased when they see us lying to one another? Their children? Israela? Do you think they're pleased when when they see us treating each other backbiting with malice in our hearts? Hatred? Not seeking to restore, but looking to tear apart? That's not the image of our father and our mother, Israela. That's not the image that they created us in as their sons and daughters. And as their sons and daughters, we should seek to reconcile. Just like our Abba seeks to reconcile with our Amma seeks to reconcile with our father. There's never a breach. It can't be. They are one. They cannot be separated. And we are made in their image. So we should bear that image and seek to become one with all of us as one, with this agreement that it's about being loving toward one another and loving ourselves, dreaming our dreams together and trusting one another again, seeing each other in our truth. And the only way you can see your brother in his truth is that brother, you have to be saying those words of your truth to yourself. Because I can never see you in your truth, bro. And I'm sorry about that. That it may hurt you if you get a negative response from me if you're saying I am statements of negativity over yourself. So if you're waking up saying I ain't shit, I ain't gonna never have shit, niggas is always beefing with me, I always got beef with a nigga, then don't be surprised if that's what you see. So like I said, I'm encouraging you, my messages are to you to change how you're speaking and what you're thinking. And do it now, because if you don't do it now, then you have to have more pain, more experiences. I'll share this with you and then that'll be all. He says he purifies us in the furnace. Okay? So when you find gold, it's all dirty and filthy, has all kind of other minerals and irons mixed in with it. It's all messed up. But you want to get pure gold. So you put that gold in the furnace. That's you. Okay? And the furnace is earth. That's here where you are. And he puts you in there like a refiner does. And he pulls you out. That's your first incarnation. He pulls you out of there. He checks you out. He looks at you. And he says, nope, there's still blemishes in there. It's not perfect. And then he puts it back. And then he's going to give you the choice. Do you want to go back in and make restitution? Or do you want to go where you guys say, which is eternal fire? You're no good, so I'll just chuck you into eternal fire. Of course you're going to say, I'll take a chance to be purified. So he's going to put you back into the fire, earth. And then he's going to refine you more. Okay? And each time he does this, you're getting more pure. So he pulls you out again. Much better, but it's still some specks up in there, man. It's not perfect. He puts you in again until finally he pulls you out and it's perfect. And then now he can use it. No longer have to be put back in the fire again. Y'all see that? So you can search the scriptures, the books, the holy books. You can go all around. It's going to talk about a refiner's fire that you must go through. Furnace of affliction. To bring you to the knowledge of love so that you can judge righteous judgment. You can become what we call an adult, a true adult. Now you can judge righteously. You can speak right. You can walk right. You put the childish things away. And now you've taken on the mannerisms and the ways of your father and your mother. Truth and love together as one. The offspring of the mother and the father. You, me. Silawam Yisraela.